All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday evening Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. Hope you've had an awesome day and looking forward to getting started. So, without further ado, let's dive in. What we'll do, nope, let me back up. As always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds, your bodies to engage as you guys always do. Grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's participate and engage. All right, so what we'll do is look at some fundamentals, see what's happening. We have some things transpire here recently. We'll take a look at the calendar. And then what I want to do first is take a look at a setup that's right in action that just got posted into the Discord. Then I want to go through some of the setups that we had for today. And then we'll take a look to see with the remaining time what we have left for the evening. So if you could real quick, just drop me a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Perfect. All right. So let's slide over to trading economics. And all right. There we go. Mm. All right. Cool deal. So trading economics. First thing we have Asian stocks tracked Wall Street lower. Asian equity markets fell on Wednesday, tracking sharp losses on Wall Street overnight as fears that the Fed will continue hiking rates to tame inflation and economic warnings from major U.S. retailers rattled the market, right? So they're starting to price in higher interest rates, right? So that's causing some fear in the market. The Fed, with the data that just came out um, last week, everybody is now digesting that. They've had a long weekend to think about it. And the Fed, they're anticipating, will continue to be hawkish, right? So Fed to continue to increase interest rates. Then we have the New Zealand dollar. They had their cash rate this evening, and they raised it by the anticipated 50 basis points, which is the highest since 2009 to 4.75% during the first meeting of the year, in line with market consensus. Wednesday's move was a 10 straight increase, bringing the total to 450 basis point hike since October of 2021. Most aggressive tightening by the RBNZ since 1999. The board said inflation is remaining too high at an annual rate of 7.2. As the core inflation also stayed elevated, employment was beyond its sustainable level, and near-term inflation expectations remain high. Right. That's ultimately the narrative. That's what the Fed has continued to say, and that's the narrative that's been lingering around. So keep that in mind. Then we have U.S. stock futures stabilized on Wednesday after major averages fell sharply during Tuesday's regular session, coming under pressure from rising Treasury yields as investors price in higher interest rates. Right, Benny broke down the Treasury yields last night and quite a bit last week, and we saw that those continue to rise. Right, so futures contracts tied to the three major indices drifted flat to slightly positive. In extended trading, Palo Alto Networks, Coinbase, Toll Brothers, Lazy Boy, and Hostess brands gained a better than expected quarterly earnings, while Caesars Entertainment, Camping World, CoStar Group, and Transocean dropped on disappointing quarterly updates, right? So you got a little back and forth here with some companies having decent earnings and some not, right? Haven't fully felt the effect of these rising interest rates. Investors fretted about the prospects of the Federal Reserve will continue hiking rates to tame inflation, while retail giants warn the market about economic uncertainties, right? Investors now await the Fed minutes and more earning reports coming on Wednesday, right? So we got some news coming ahead, but they're starting to price in those increased interest rates in the future, okay? So yeah, so that's what's happening, and that's what we've seen in the market. We saw some moves happen throughout the day today, which we'll take a look at. So we hop over to the calendar, and for today, right, early this morning, today's 21st. So we had flash PMI for the pound, right, came out ahead of expectation. Then after the morning session, we had CPI for the Canadian dollar come in. It was a little mixed, right? The median CPI at 5%, just above, but then you had your trim and your core just below the expectation. And your core retail sales came in below expectation as well. So a little bit of mixed data coming out of Canada. And then you had flash PMI for the dollar coming in above expectation, right, for your purchase managers. And then tonight we had, right, the cash rate for the New Zealand dollar. All right. So that's where we are from a fundamental perspective. Tomorrow we have at 2 p.m. those meeting minutes will be released. Then you have Governor Orr for New Zealand coming to the mic at 2:10. Right. That's where eyes are pointed for tomorrow to see what the conversation was from the Fed last month, to get a better understanding of what could be happening as they continue to price in potential increases, right? So if the Fed comes out and says, yeah, we're going to be more aggressive, then we could continue to see that happen, and we could continue to see investors become more uncertain, right? And the dollar gain a little bit more strength. So that's where we are from a fundamental perspective. Do we have any questions? Nope. All right, cool deal. Let's hop over to the charts. We'll take a look at the, actually first, I want to take a look at this pound yen before we look at the dollar, just because this one is starting to make its move. So on the pound yen, from a daily time frame perspective, we broke above this key level here, this key daily and weekly levels we broke above. Strong bullish move. And we know, right, the market likes to take back at least 50 to 60% of these bullish moves. Right. And we're starting to get a little bit of a retracement right now, pushed into just shy of a 50% retracement here on the daily time frame. Right. We got our 618 level just above here at 165, 179. All right. So as we continue moving down through the time frames, come to the 4. And what we looked at over the weekend, right, we're looking for this move to the upside to happen, and we got it. Now we're looking for that pullback to retest this daily and weekly levels. Right. Looking for that pullback and retest, right? For those that trade that break and retest strategy, sit tight and allow price to come back to your zone, okay? So as we go down to the 1, all right, we got a fresh AB boundary that popped in here, all right? We saw this over the weekend. We had an 80-20 scenario, but price didn't make it down, didn't give us a deep retracement, pushed above. All right, so now we're looking for a fresh AB boundary on the 1, looking for this pullback to at least that 382 level. Okay, so we come down to the 15, and this is where the move that just got posted into the Discord lies, right? We got a 80-20 scenario here. We got our shallow retracement. We got price to push up into that 118, 127 zone. I'm sorry, I'm on the 5-minute chart. Let's go back to the 15. Similar look, though. All right, there we go. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. We get our sideways push now, right? And we want to see price start to make that move and that breakdown to the downside. All right, so tap this one on your radar. We'll take a look at it as we move through the session. We'll check back in to see what the progress is on it. But if we do go down to the 5, like we were, right, we see we've broken below the cloud. We got a bullish cloud ahead. It is pressing sideways, so we could still get another push back to retest the cloud here, right? As soon as we got this consolidation happening, right? So we'll watch. We could get that pullback, but price has broken the cloud, right? Now we're looking for this move to start happening sometime in the near future to give us that retracement that we like to see. All right. And we get to TP1, that'll get us at a 382, right? If we get to TP2, right, that'll break that that daily and weekly level and get lower, right? But that TP1 puts us right back at that weekly level that we just broke through. All right. So That's the pound yen. Any questions on this one? All right, that's an active setup. I've already placed my entry on that one with my wide stop. I got my stop at the D, right? And I'm just going to allow this one to swing, right? And if we get to TP1 from where price currently is, that's 131 pips to the downside, all right? TP2, we're looking at 191 pips to the downside, okay? No questions there. Cool deal. Let's drop back now, take a look at the dollar and the progress that it's made. Come here. Let me take this out. Clean this up a little bit from the weekend. We see on the dollar, right? We're still consolidating a little bit, right? Still pressing sideways. Try to get a little bit of a bullish push here, but we broke through. We broke out of that previous consolidation, and then past few days, have just been sideways movement, right? So we want to see if we start to get bullish again, right? And the market opens in the morning. See if we can get this push to the upside, start getting to that 382 and potentially higher. Okay. Take that out. And we go to the 4. Okay. And we'll run that fib off the high. Like so. Right. And we see we're pushing to the upside here. Deeper on the 4. Okay. Deeper on the 4. If we go back to the daily, thought we had. Let me make sure here. Maybe that fresh AB boundary. There we go. Right. Yeah, we had that fresh AB boundary there on the daily time frame running the fibs. That manual fib was a potential crown pattern that I'm looking at. If we get price to push into our sweet spot, the 618-786-86 range, we could be looking at a potential crown pattern on the DXY at some point in the future, right? But just off the smart fibs, this is the retracement that we have there. All right. On the 4, that's where we sit, ranging a bit. Now we just need another break out of the range. So we'll see if we get that push tomorrow morning, right, when the market opens for the New York session. Okay, so that's the DXY there. Want to take a look. At this morning. We posted quite a few setups that were in preparation. One that was active this morning was the Euro Swissy. I posted it in the Telegram. And so if we take a look at it, it was on the 5-minute, right? It was on the 5-minute. And we come back here. And this was the setup here. I'm going to take the cloud off for a second. This was the setup here. This was our AB boundary, right? Price was just pushing down into that zone, right? Then we got a deeper push into that 118, 127 zone, just like we like. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. And then we got this beautiful move to the upside through TP1 and TP2 and took out the fib to the upside, right? So depending on how you enter this trade, if you entered it right at that 118, 127, that was 15 pips to the upside, right? 21 if you got to TP2. If you rode this all the way to the top side, that was 51 pips to the upside, right? So for your intraday traders and for your scalpers, right, these moves are big. And so we're going to work on, right, with some of the technology that we've been working on, get some more of these smaller intraday plays for those that trade on these lower time frames. All right, but this was a massive move to the upside, especially for intraday traders and those that like scalping, right? So we got that beautiful move to the upside. That one played out as expected and continue to run. All right. Did anybody take that trade this morning? No? All right. Cool deal. Well, it was there for us. And then we'll review real quick the Aussie, New Zealand. Let me get back there. Swiss yen. Swiss yen from earlier finally started to make its move. So we did get a little extra push to the upside, tried to break above that daily D extension, right? We got a nice wick that happened there, but came right back below the level, right? Came right back below the level. So now we need 2 days to end lower for us to have a new swing high and a new fib there, right? We come down to the 4 and we're hovering in that 118, 127 zone, right? Hovering in that zone like we like. So now, right, we came back below that daily D extension. Joy, you're holding that longer term move. That's beautiful. Great work. Great work. So breaking back below, we're sitting at this daily level here. And so now we want to see, are we able to break back below this level, right? Push out of that zone, potentially give us a retest and then continue lower, right? So this is an 80-20 play. It's a longer term swing, right? But it's starting to turn over here, which we like to see, right? So back to the 382 off this 4 is 294 pips to the downside, right? Downside movement potential there. As we come down to the 1 hour, right? Similar deal. We're approaching the cloud now on the 1, right? But you see prices starting to make those lower highs and lower lows, right? So starting to try to shift that trend a bit, right? We'd love to see it on the 1 hour break this cloud and break that support level, right? And give us that move to the downside. So we'll come down to the lower time frames on the 15, and we did get that cloud break that we wanted to see, right? We got a nice bearish move here. We came back and retested the cloud here, and now we're on the move to the downside, right? So this one is starting to slowly make its move, right? Once we break this daily support level, then we'll be on the go. All right, then we'll be on the go. But continue to monitor that one, right? Allow it to swing, allow it to move in our favor, and we'll be good to go there, right? We got anybody sitting in this one? I know Mally was in this one. Starting to move in our favor, though. Yep. Great work, Bridget. Great work. So that's the Swiss yen. Beneath. Awesome. Awesome. Then we had CAD yen. Right. We had that that mixed data coming out of Canada, right? So from a daily time frame, we broke this key level and we said we want to see price come back and potentially retest this level, maybe even push a little bit deeper, right? So as we move down through the time frames, we come to the 1. There's that 80-20 play that we posted, and we finally broke the cloud to the downside here. We got a bullish twist ahead, TK crossover, right? All of our confirmations met, and the lagging span is also broken below the cloud and below price, right? So we got all of our confirmations met there. Now this one is on the move to the downside. We'll see what happens when we get to this daily level, which is another 40 pips to the downside. But we'd love to see price at least get to that 382, maybe deeper, right? Maybe deeper. If we get to the 382, that's 106 pips from where it currently is. Okay. So another beautiful mover to the downside there. That's just starting to get going. Okay. So already we're inching into 100, 150 pips already on Tuesday. Okay. Already on Tuesday. Stop was too tight on which one, Joy?
Chef JPY.
Yeah. That one played around a little bit, right? It bounced around quite a bit. But if you get a little bit of pullback, or you can play the break and retest off that daily level for another potential entry. So keep your eyes on it. Keep your eyes on it. Got a little bit to go, so it'll give us some more opportunities. But you're in the game nonetheless, and that's what matters. That's what matters. So that is the CAD yen, right? Off the 118, 127 zone. We're already in profit, 60 pips. All right. Already in profit, 60 pips there. Okay. Then that Aussie NZD. Slowly taking its time, but we finally got that push that we've been waiting on into this daily 118, 127 zone, and price just turned over beautifully. Yeah. Absolutely. And they got quite a bit to go. So on this Aussie New Zealand, we finally got this bearish push to the downside here, right? Broke back below those daily levels. Now we're on the move down. So out of that 118, 127 zone, we're already down 94 pips, right? 223 to that 382. Okay. So as we move through the time frames here, right? On the 4, that was a fresh AB boundary, right? That push into the zone. Hold on. All right, a fresh AB boundary on the 4-hour time frame, right? And now price is making that move to the downside here. Let's come down to the 1, right? I have the trend lines drawn here. And we see we got some beautiful breaks and retests, right? We broke down, came back, retested that trend line, and retested that consolidation zone. And then we got another breakdown, right? So now we're breaking this middle trend line here. So we could be due for another pullback to retest that trend line as we continue this move out of this 118, 127 zone to the downside, right? So again, out of that zone, right, another 63 pips to the good, right? And we got quite a bit to go. Another 100 to that TP1 level. All right. So those that are taking these trades, man, they're there for us. We just got to continue to pull the trigger. All right. We just got to continue to pull the trigger when they show up in our zone and when they meet our rules. All right. So that is the week so far. Okay. Let's take a look at these New Zealand, actually the Euro CAD with the mixed news. I got to remark that one. We'll come back to that one. Take a look at these New Zealands real quick. And then if you guys have any pairs you want to take a look at, we can look at those. Smart Trader removed it. Let's see. Let's delete and re-add. All right, let's see here. We have to do some fresh markups, but we got a breakdown there. All right, with that release of the news, price broke down on the 1-minute time frame. So we're getting a pullback. Price came in as expected there. We have to do some fresh markups here. So let's walk through this New Zealand dollar real quick. All right, we got our extreme highs and extreme lows, like so, and like so. Bang. All right, we'll drop in the support and resistance levels, get those mapped in. Like so, and then we got our support right there. Okay. Let's see. All right, and let's go down to the weekly. And we'll do it all over again. And push down, right? Looking at the price action here, push down into this weekly support level, right? Push down into the weekly support level. So that's could see some action, right? We'll see if we break that level and continue lower. That's what I want to see. All right, so weekly support, another resistance level there. Then we got support there. All right. So there we go. Got our monthly and weeklies in. And we'll go down to the daily. All right. So daily resistance and daily support here and there. All right. So there we go. We got support and resistance in. Now let's pull these smart levels out and let's look at it. All right. So immediately just looking at the price action, no fibs. What I see here is potential for a crown pattern. Right? We got the left tip here, took out that low, pushed down, came back, took out that previous high. Right? Took out that previous high. Now we're making this move back down. Right? We could potentially come lower if we break these levels and come down to this daily support level. And we got the crown pattern like that. Right? So that's potential. Okay. And we got the daily, the DXY with a potential crown pattern on the inverse side of it, right? So that would make sense if we get these movements to happen, right? If we start breaking these levels and come down to these support levels in line with that left tip, we could see that, right? From just the naked eye, just looking at support and resistance levels there, okay? So now if we do run a fib to the upside here, we see, right, we got this double top action, price pressing down. Still haven't gotten to that 382, which tells us potential for some more bearish action to come, right? So when the market opens, when the market opens tomorrow morning, right, we could see the dollar pick up some strength. And if we see these bearish moves, right, look for price to push down into these lower levels. Okay, so we'll see what happens, but that's what I'm looking for here. Could get a pullback overnight and then look for price to continue moving to the downside. So that's on the daily time frame. Let's drop down to the 4. Okay, here on the 4, we'll run the same fib to the upside, like so, right? And here on the 4, we got this 80-20 scenario playing out. Shallow retracement. Shallow retracement. 118, 127 zone. All right. We did not get to that D extension. And now we're breaking down, right? So this also tells us, right, more indication that we got some more downside movement coming, right? Even if we get a pullback first, retest this consolidation here, still looking for more bearish action to come. All right. So looking for that to play out on the 4-hour time frame. That's the 80-20 scenario there. Coming down to the 1. And we'll look at it from 2 perspectives here. That fib got taken out. We'll run the fib to the upside first. All right. There's our active AB boundary there. Coming into that A boundary here, right? We got the double top action, price pressing down. Didn't break that A boundary yet. Trying to turn over. We'll see if we get that continued move to the downside, then we could be in for that move to take out that A. So with that, with knowing that we're sitting at that A boundary, I want to look at it from a different perspective here. No, that's not what I want. There we go. Take out the fib, and we're going to run the fib from top down. All right, so we got to that 382. Break of that weekly level will get us to the D extension. Then we'll get some fresh a fresh fib there. Okay, so could be in for this to break and not give us that pullback, right? And if we look at it from a support resistance perspective, right, we came back and retested that zone with that pullback, right? Came back and retested. We broke down, broke another level, came back and retested. So, right, natural thing. Look for another break and then a retest. All right, look for another break and another retest. So we may not get this pullback here, right? We may see prices turn over and press to the downside. The news out of New Zealand with the interest rate, it came in as expected. All right, came in as expected. So it was already priced into the market, and we see price a little indecisive. So we could see it continue moving to the downside if the dollar picks up that strength. All right, hold on one second. All right, so that's what we're looking at there. So looking for more downside movement there. If and when we get these breaks to the downside, look for a retest. Look to play the break and retest on that. Excuse me, for that continued move to the downside there. Okay, so nothing doing right now on this New Zealand dollar, but looking for a price to continue that move to the downside. Any questions on this? No. All right, cool deal. Um, do you guys have any pairs that you have your eyes on that you want me to take a look at? And we'll take requests for the last 30 minutes of the session here. No, nothing that you guys got your eyes on. Euro NZD, Euro Aussie. All right, there they go. Yep, Brandy, I did go over that GJ. We'll take another peek back at it and see where it is. But yeah, we did cover it. I'll check back on it in 1 second here. Dollar CAD. All right. So let's take a look at this Euro NZD. Actually, where's that pound yen? This is the pound yen here, Brandy. Right? We got an 80-20 on the 15. Oops. 80-20 on the 15 minute, right? And you see, right, since we've started, price is already trying to make its move to the downside. If you come down to your 5, we've gotten that cloud break. We got the bullish cloud ahead. We got our TK crossover, right? And we got the lagging span below the cloud and below price. So all of our cloud confirmations are met, and price is making those lower highs and lower lows. All right, so we're on the move to the downside off the 80-20, off the 15 and the 5. Right, you got an 80-20 here on the 5 as well. All right, so that is the update on the pound yen. Let's take a look at this Euro NZD. All right, interesting. So on the daily, had this beautiful 80-20 play out to the downside. Got a nice pullback here, right? Got a nice pullback here, and we're getting some consolidation, sideways push at this daily level, right? So we could be in for. We'll see if price turns back over, right? We got a hawkish ECB. You're welcome, Brandon. We got a hawkish ECB, right? That interest rate on New Zealand came in as expected. That didn't give us this push to the downside. So the thing that could change this is if the ECB changes their narrative, right? Which we'll see. We'll see what happens. But on the daily time frame, we're getting consolidation here. Okay. So let's go down to the 4. And on our 4, we got a 618 retracement. So we could be in for a continued move to the upside if we stay above this 1.699, right? If we stay above these levels here, we could be in for that continued move to the upside, right? Got some indecision right now. We'll see how investors continue to digest that news coming out of New Zealand. But with the hawkish ECB, I'm more bullish here than bearish, especially because of this scenario here. All right. So let's go down to the 1, see if we have some short-term options. Yeah, even here on the 1, right? 618 retracement, didn't get to that 786 level, push to the upside. So everything here is telling me bullish at least to 172, right? Bullish to 172, could likely get back to that 174, 242 level. Okay. So I'm bullish on this one. We come down to the 15. and we wicked this 382 here. Wicked the 382 there. So back to what I said off the higher time frames. If we stay above 169.9, what's that? 169.925, right? We could pull back a little bit, right? We could see price make its way down, but as long as we stay above this level, right? I'm bullish. I'm bullish, right? D extension here on the 15, right? And we could likely on the higher time frames even get up here to that 174 level, right? So we're ranging right now. We want to break out in one direction or the other, but I think at the end of the day, over the long term, I'm bullish here. I'm bullish here, right? That really non-reaction to that interest rate hike that came through today tells us that it was already priced in. It was already priced into the market. So we could see this get back bullish, like I said, unless the ECB changes their narrative. If they change their narrative, then we could definitely see this fall. Could definitely see it fall. All right. Questions here? What are your thoughts on that, Reese? what had you looking bearish? That pullback off the daily? Because that even took out your A there. Let's see. Yeah, and even on the sub fibs, you got these pullbacks here. It'll be interesting to see. Right? We could get some short term downside movement, but I think overall we could be pushing back to the upside here. Looking at the impulse and the pullback, yeah, we could, right? We could still see a pullback on it in the short term, but I think that pullback could only bring us, if we get it right. I'm looking at 169. If we break below that, then I'll reassess, right, and look for more bearish opportunities. But as long as we stay above that level, then I'm bullish on that. Bullish on that one. All right, cool deal. Let's take a look at the EA. Benny checked it out this morning. Hey, no doubt. Ooh, it's pushing. So daily time frame came down to the 8-6 retracement level, and we've been trying to get bullish. We got a nice bullish action here today, pushing to the upside, coming into some resistance here, right? Coming to a little bit of resistance here. We will see if we're able to break above that. Okay, we'll see if we're able to break above that. All right, those two levels there. I'll bring that down. Let's go to the 4. All right, similar deal. So we're pushing out of that 618 zone on the 4, off that nice deep retracement. So we want to see if we can break this zone here. Right, we've been at it a few times. Want to see if we can break above and get bullish there. Right, so with concerns the Fed continue to increase interest rates, right, you're looking at bearish action on your commodity currencies. Right, looking at bearish action on your commodity currencies, moving money into safer places. Right, so we could likely get a break of these levels and start to continue to make those higher highs and higher lows, making them move back to the upside, ultimately getting to that 162 level at some point. All right, so I want to see how price responds at these levels. Come down to the 1. And we got fibs running to the downside off of this high. All right, and over the weekend we said we wanted to see price push down and then continue bullish, and that's what we got. Right, so again, do we break these levels and continue making those moves to the upside? So I'm going to run the fib off the low here just to see where we sit, since that's our directional bias. Let's see. Yeah, that's where we sit there. Right, we got a 618, just shy of a 618 retracement here. Matching D extension is there above that 156, 533 level. Right, so Signs say bullish here, right? We got hawkish ECB again, unless they change their narrative, and moving money out of those riskier assets, right? So we're looking at price pushing to the upside here. Okay. That's my bias on that. Let's see if we got any short-term opportunities coming off the impulse. To the 15. Let's see. Let's see. Run the fib off the low here. Nope, not there. That last impulse leg here. Oh, maybe not. Here we go. Yep, that hit the D extension. So we could see a pullback before that break. So we'll watch this, right? We can watch this and see if we get that swing how to form and give us a fresh AB boundary here, right? And then what I'd be looking for is a low price to get long. That's what I'd be looking for here. If we don't get price to push into that 118 and 127 zone when that new AB boundary forms, right? If price just turns over and presses down, I want to see price come back, retest this cloud, get to that 618 retracement zone. If I get this action here, then I'm looking long, right? I'll look for a long entry there and take that back up to the upside. All right. So my bias on this one is bullish also. All right. Most of these euros I'm bullish on. Most of them I'm bullish on. All right. So that's what I'm looking for. New fib to form here. And look for a low price to get long. Okay. Questions on that Euro Aussie? Oh, you seeing something similar, Joy?
Well, I started second guessing myself because I was playing the daily. And I was noticing that I think it's the weekly, either the weekly or the monthly is overbought. And
On the
I
stochastic?
yeah.
Okay.
And I know it's a lagger. But I was becoming hesitant whether or not if it ran out of steam or not.
I got you. I haven't looked at this one from a higher time frame perspective with the fib in a long time, but we're still in this 80-20 scenario on the weekly time frame, right? We came to these weekly lows. We got a double bottom here at this weekly and monthly level. We're stalling here, but we're trying to get bullish, right? So I'm going to watch this closely because at the end of the day, we could over the long term make our way back up to this 382. Got a lot of work to do, right? But we'll check back on this one as the year progresses to see if the ECB stays bullish, right? But we could, that's 1,800 pips to the upside. That'd be a beautiful year-long swing. But let's see if we get back to that 382 off the weekly. I'm curious on that. And then here on the daily, we could see a pullback here though, Joy, right? Coming into that daily level. Okay. We could see a pullback there. I think it'll be more short term, right? Just because if we zoom out and look at it, right, we got this double bottom action here at a weekly and monthly support level. We broke back above this was a weekly resistance level, broke back above it, and now we're retesting that level, and it's held pretty strong. We got 4 touches at that level. It's held pretty strong, and now we're pushing to the upside. So, yeah, like I said, in my opinion, the only thing that could change that is I love it. Only thing that changed my bias on this one is if for whatever reason, ECB changes their narrative and the dollar completely tanks, right? My narrative will change there. If the Fed comes out surprisingly and changes their thoughts, then yeah, we might see this turnover and that Aussie pick up some strength. But it'll take a lot for that to happen, I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there, right? And if it does stay below, then we'll look for price to come back down to this weekly support level like that. Right. Manage that stop and let it do its thing, man. Let it do its thing. It'll be a fun ride. So that's the Euro Aussie. All right. Dollar yen. Let's see. On the 15, we had this fresh AB boundary. We're starting to make this move to the downside. But this thing's been running to the upside, man. Off this 80-20 here, right? Pushed down beautifully. The 9th gave us a 50% retracement almost. And then we just been long, right? And that's on the 15-minute, but just been long, right? Now we're looking at a potential retracement coming. Let's go to the daily. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Zoom out. Let's see. Run the fib to the upside. Got taken out. Run these fibs to the upside. Oops. Let's see. Oops. Right here, maybe. Let's see. Zoom in a little bit. Those got taken out too. Probably come to that next low. Yep. All right. So we'll come here. Boom. There we go. Those got taken out to the downside. So we come to the high. Bam. There you go. Deeper push. Closed above this daily level. Right? We got this daily resistance level here. Pushing above. Pushing into the cloud a bit. Coming into that 618 retracement level. Right? Retesting the previous zone of consolidation. We'll see. We'll see how price responds. But a strong bullish push. If we get that, right, when the market opens, if we get that dollar bullish action, right, we could see this ride a bit. Let's drop down to the 4. And we got deep retracement off the capital fib, right? Take that out for a second. That's our capital fib there. Break of the cloud. And we're well above the cloud here, right? Price pushing to the upside. We could be due for a pullback, right? So maybe we get a pullback to retest the cloud. But this one is running to the upside beautifully. Off that cloud break, we're up 465 pips to the upside. Right? So it's a beautiful move to the upside there. If we run those sub fibs to the high, like so, pull these out for a second. And we're here, right? So we got a fresh AB boundary, and we're having a little bit double top action. We'll see if we get that pullback, right? And this will be another one, right? If we stay above this 132,794 level, right? I'll be bullish. Right? I wouldn't take it because it's not in my sweet spot. But if we stay above that level, I see price continuing to ride. If we break back below that, then we could head further down. Okay.
Can you please go back to the 1 hour?
1 hour. Yep. I'm gonna get there.
No, sorry, the daily. Sorry.
Daily. Yep.
Yeah.
That daily time frame.
Yeah, if you run the feed from top, yeah, there's a confluence right there. There you go.
Yep. 618 and that 618 retracement. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for before I get my entry.
Okay. So you're looking short on this?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that idea. Right. Get that D extension. Right. So what'll be interesting to see is when we get that push. When we get this push up here, right, do we just come back to retest this daily level? That's going to be my question, right? That's going to be my question. Once we get that push to the upside, do we come back and take the cloud off, right? Do we come back and just retest these daily levels? That'll be something interesting to watch to see, right? These daily levels, right? If we stay above, we could push to this next level. So we could get to 138, 194, right? Which will give us another crown pattern. And this looks similar to that DXY, right? Similar to that DXY. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see when we get that full turn around on the dollar. I think we get it at some point, but it'll be interesting to see when it occurs. All right, it'll be interesting to see when it occurs. Does it occur here and the price just collapse, or do we push that next daily level? Right. I think tomorrow morning to give us a good indication. If we get some bullish action out of this to hit that level, I think we'll get just a retest here and then a bounce to the upside. We'll stay bullish, at least in the short term, right? As the Fed continues to increase those interest rates. There's some back and forth happening on the yen with who's going to replace Kuroda for the Bank of Japan. So that's causing some uncertainty and some bouncing back and forth. They got a couple candidates. One has a different view and wants to move out of the loose monetary policy, but then the other that they brought to the table, they are similar thought process of being extremely loose and continuing to print money. So you got to bounce back and forth there on who's going to take that position. I believe that's going to happen in March, I believe, is when that transition is going to occur. So we could see some continued volatility in the yen as they get closer to that decision. And when that happens, depending on who takes that position, we could definitely see some action on all the yen crosses, depending on who takes that role. So it'll be interesting to see. All right. So we'll watch this. We'll watch when we get to that 618 level, and we'll see what happens. All right. So let's drop to the one real quick. I'll pull out that crown. And on our one, right? This is where we are. All right. Fresh AB boundary. So we'll see what this push to the upside looks like. All right. That D extension is kind of in line with that daily 618 level. All right, so let's mark that out and we'll bring it down. All right, so now let's go back to the one. So that's in line with that 118, 127 zone.
Yeah, perfect. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I follow you on that. Yep, I follow you on that. Right. And your deep retracement level here on the 1 hour time frames comes in line with that 132,794. All right. So still could put us in a position to stay above these levels. That's going to be interesting. Let's watch this one. When we get into this 118, 127 zone. We'll keep our eyes on that. Appreciate that, Malik. Appreciate that. All right, so that's what we're looking at on the dollar yen. Looking for another push to the upside and come into these zones and then see what happens. Do we get price just continue to ride higher, or do we get a retracement first? Okay. Questions here on this dollar yen. Donette, what you seeing?
Same thing.
Same thing.
I want to see it fall a little bit before though, but we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get that pullback first or if we get that push to the upside for sure. All right, cool deal. The Euro CAD. All right, we'll walk back through it. We'll do a full analysis on it. I cleared this one out. Yeah, let's walk back through it real quick, and we'll see. We might wrap it up here. Let's see. Resistance levels, like so. We'll lock these in. Support level, all-time low. We'll drop in our support and resistance. Bang. Oops. All right. Okay. There and there. All right, like so. And we will take these down to our lower time frames. Bang. All right, we'll pull these out. Pull that out. Drop down to the weekly. Okay. We'll do it all over again. Okay. Do it all over again. Change this blue. All right. Resistance level there. That's a tight zone. I'm going to mark that one there. That's a pretty tight zone. Price bounced off this resistance level here. Came back down to the support level. Now we're getting another push to the upside. So a little bit rangy here, right? But we could also be in for head and shoulders type action. So let's see. All right. So those are support levels. Here's that, right? Potential head and shoulders type action here. Right here. All right. So we'll see how this plays out here, right? The mixed data coming out of Canada, right? Mixed data coming out of Canada. I didn't give it to me. Oops. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. All right. So we'll watch this closely and see if we get price to turn over there. All right. But that's the weekly time frame. We'll pull this off. Tell me not valid at the moment, which is cool. And we'll take these weekly levels down to our daily. Okay. All right. Now, drop to the daily. To the daily. Same deal. Same deal. Lock it in. Change it to red. Resistance there. Support there. Support there. And support there. All right. So, got those levels there. All right, so we got our daily levels in. Now let's see where we are from a fib perspective. All right, we know we got some nice pushes on these. I'll run the fib off the high. This one over here. Bang, took out the A there on the daily. Run the fib off the low, and that's where we're sitting on the daily time frame. Okay. AB boundary just pressing sideways. Couple things actually before we move forward there. Let's come back to the monthly time frame, right? We run these fibs off the high. We saw this move play out, right? We had this long push here, right? And then as we move in a little bit closer, just off the last impulse leg to the downside, right? Just off this last impulse leg, we have price pushing the 618 retracement zone off of 80.20. All right, from a monthly time frame perspective, we saw this play out from July, August, right, all the way through end of the year, right? So that was a beautiful move on the monthly time frame. And I'm going back here just to give us a little bit of perspective, right? Because on the weekly time frame, we had the same thing. Okay, we had the same thing, right? Pushing to that 618 retracement zone. So what I'm looking to see here is one of two things, right? Do we either get price to break out? Get price to break out to the upside out of this consolidation zone, or do we break down to the downside and make our way to the D extension? That's what I'm looking for here, right? If we ultimately break to the upside, we will at some point potentially have this head and shoulders pattern here, right? But if we break down to the downside, then we'll get to the D extension. That's going to call for the CAD to pick up some strength, right? And the Bank of Canada to get hawkish. Right now they're a little bit mixed. So that's something from a higher time frame. Just keep our minds on it and be aware of. So here on the daily, right, we got price just in this tightly wound range. So when we retest this daily level here at 144, right, do we get this push to the downside first? That's the question, right? That's the question. Where do we break out first? Is it to the downside or do we just push long? So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see here. If we break above this level, we could be more likely headed long. But if we stay below this daily level, we could potentially push lower. Okay. So that's on the daily. Take these daily levels down to our lower time frames. Like so. All right. Now come to the 4. We'll take these out. All right, here on the 4, we got an interesting scenario. Okay. We'll come all the way back to the low and we'll run the fib to the upside. We got an 80-20 here on the 4, right? So here kind of gives us a little bit of uncertainty and potentially some bearish action first, right? So again, if we stay below this daily level at 144, if we stay below, we could be in for this push to the downside, right? Obviously, we got to break 142 as well to get to that 382, right? But that could be the action that we see off the 80-20. You have to watch it and see, right? But if we break above 144, we may not get that 382. Okay. So that's something I'm just aware of in the back of my mind. If we don't break, if we break above this level, this one could go ahead and run long. All right. But if we stay below, look for 142, and then if we're able to break it, right, have somewhat of a head and shoulders pattern here. It's a little lopsided. See if the ratios are accurate here. Yeah, right. So we could see that if we stay below that daily level there. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's what we got, 80-20 on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. Come down to our 1. And let's see. I'll run this off the low. And we got a 382 on the 1, right? So this is that large consolidation range. So again, coming back to this daily level and what happens here, right? That's where my eyes are going to stick to see if we get movement out of here and get price to push down, or do we break above and continue higher, right? So more bullish to neutral, just due to the ECB and the hawkishness of the ECB. But we could see some downside movement if we break that 142 level. All right. So I'm not in this one right now. I don't have anything, nothing immediate, right? I want to see what happens in one direction or the other there. Questions on that Euro CAD? No? All right, cool deal. We'll look at the dollar CAD, and that's where we will wrap things up for the evening. So let's flip it. Dollar CAD. Let's see. We got that breakout to the upside, right? This is that zone. It's on the 1 hour. We said we want to break out in one direction or the other. Broke out to the upside, came back, retested it, and now we're trying to push bullish, right? Mixed data coming out of Canada, hawkish Fed, bullish action, right? So let's go back to the daily. 50% retracement. That was that consolidation. You see this strong bullish push here, right? We broke above that daily level as well. So now it's, right, what we looked at over the weekend. Now we get this retest of that level, retest of the level, and continuation long, right? I'm bullish here. Broke out to the upside, right? So now I'm looking for price to continue to the upside, start taking out some of these levels as it continues to push. So that's from a daily level, a daily time frame. Come down to the 4, right? And those got taken out. I think all of these will get taken out ultimately. Yep, all those got taken out. So we're running fib off the high. Run the fib off the high. Like so. Right. So we're just ranging double bottom action here. Likely for this one to continue right to the upside. Right. So I'm bullish on this dollar CAD here. And next level I'll look at is 137.007. Right. I'm bullish here. I'm bullish with that breakout there. I'll look for price to continue to ride higher. Okay. So come down to the 1. Right. Back to where we started. And run the fib, right? Similar to that 4-hour look, double bottom action, we're looking long, right? So the thing that we could be in for potential on the lower time frames, let's see. Let's run this fib off the low. We could be in for a potential pullback, right? Potential pullback, depending on what these meeting notes come out as too, right? That's coming out tomorrow. So could be in for a pullback, but I'm looking for price to continue long, right? And that might just be a retest of that daily level. And then I'm looking long, right? As long as we stay above that level, I'm bullish there, right? I'm bullish there. Okay. Got an 80-20 scenario, but this is one that we may not get back to that 382 on. We may not get there. So just be aware of that in this 80-20 scenario. All right. Questions on the dollar CAD. All right. On this 80-20, right? Just make sure your confirmations are met. JC, what you glad to see you. First off, what you see anything different here on this dollar CAD?
Hey Ryan. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually. So that's exciting to hear you say. I haven't been working with the fibs lately, but I have been using the cloud, and I wondered because I saw like that gap, the TK gap on the one, and so I wondered about if there was an 80-20 on the fib.
Yeah.
And then I saw the breakout on the I saw the price break on the daily. I saw a breakout there, but it didn't necessarily break out of my 4-hour zone. So I was kind of like iffy about that, if it was a true push to the upside. So yeah, this kind of the same exact sentiment you have that I kind of gained that.
Great work.
Right. So
Thanks. Great work. Right?
Thanks.
So tomorrow will be telling, right? Depending on how those meeting notes come out, we'll see what the reaction is. Right? Let's see if we stay above this level. If we break below, we could see that deeper retracement. But as long as we stay above that level, I'm looking long.
Yeah, because I saw the long like break, but I also was the same sentiment of like that looks like that could pull back, like that could retest something. So I'm in the same. How did I guess we just waiting to see like what I guess sometimes in these situations too, I asked for you to look at it, is like to like what would be I guess the catalyst for this. So like it's at a key level, like we're waiting, like what are we really waiting to see?
This right here.
Okay.
Meeting minutes, right? To see what their conversation was. Did they talk about holding those rates higher for longer? Did they talk about continue increasing those interest rates? Or did they talk about changing that narrative and starting to slow down, reversing those interest rates, potentially changing or not keeping them at that high level for very long, right? What is the tone of their conversation? That's what investors are going to be looking at tomorrow. I think that could be the catalyst that gives us one direction or the other. Okay.
And then we just look at price action, like candle formations after that is made.
Yeah. And what I look for, honestly, is you're not using the fib. So I look for a push to the upside, right? Because you got another consolidation zone here, right? So another push to the upside, a retest of that zone, and that could be your break and retest long.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I was thinking that it would test lower. I didn't think about that zone that is created right now.
Yep. It could definitely push down here. You've already gotten some breaks and retests to the upside. So if it does come down, it's just going to retest this cloud, I think, which will be down with that daily level.
Okay. Yep. Thanks.
So great work. All right, good people. Any questions on anything that we cover this evening before we wrap it up? No. All right. All right. Cool deal. Well, you guys have an awesome evening. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen, for the pre-New York session. We will chat with you later. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.